Okay, before I start this review, I want to say that I wrote this a while ago, like more than a month ago. Um, but because I just started college, I haven't really gotten to recording it yet. Um, I also have my next review, which will be of Rebels Season 3, was also written like a month ago. Um, but I finished Rebels Season 4 about a month ago and haven't written anything for it yet. So you'll get two scripts that were written immediately after the fact, and then a script that was written a month later, and then you'll get an overview of the series that was written after I finished writing all the other ones. So, the second season of Rebels is basically just more of the first season. It's better just because the characters are more developed than they were in the first season. The introduction of Clone Wars characters also kind of helps a lot. However, they purposely chose to pretty much not lean on them in the first season, which is kind of why the first season isn't good. However, I think it helped the show in the long run, as if they started with the Clone Wars stuff, it would have just been like Rebels is a poor sequel to Clone Wars, which it kind of already is, but with the first season, it does stand on its own a little bit. In this season, several of the backstories are wrapped up or more explained, and there are a lot of things set up for seasons 3 and 4. The Darth Vader stuff is all great, and the introduction of Maul is done pretty well. It's kind of weird though, because if you don't know that he's gonna be there, it's a weird like, wait, is it Maul? It's a weird confusion. But eventually it sort of gets over that hump. So his death quotation marks is kind of tainted by the knowledge because we know that she doesn't actually die, but whatever. The Inquisitors are not very good in this season, and they kind of know that. Um, several of the episode in several of the episode, the antagonist is just sort of the situation that they're in, um, not the Inquisitors, because the Inquisitors are basically not characters. They're just sort of this like generic, oh, we're evil. It's not even like the Grand Inquisitor where he was kind of the same thing, but at least he was super evil. They're just kind of lame. Um, I wish they. Uh, however, it is nice to see that sort of the level of Jedi switch, right? Because in the first season, Ezra and Kanan did not know what they're doing and basically just got beat up by the Grand Inquisitor. But we see that these new Inquisitors are not as good, and Ezra and Kanan are getting better, and there's actually like decent toe-to-toe fights that aren't like Darth Vader fight where it was just smackdown or stuff like that. And Maul, and the introduction of Maul and Ahsoka, you really see how uh, the ability of lightsaber wielders has gone down since the um, Clone Wars. I wish they focused more on the setting up the rebellion stuff. Instead, they basically lock the characters in their own world where they only get to interact with like select characters, most of which are either introduced or reintroduced into the show. It kind of makes the show feel a bit disconnected, but there's space to connect them more if they want to. The whole series takes place over 4 years, meaning that each season takes roughly a year. In contrast, the whole Clone Wars took only 3 years. Each season of the Clone Wars is roughly half a year, and the seasons of the Clone Wars are longer than the seasons of Rebels. So basically, if they wanted to, they could double the amount of seasons of content in Rebels. Um, an interesting thing is that a lot of the side characters are not present in all of the episodes, which implies they're doing something else, which kind of connects it. But the most interesting is Ahsoka, which we don't see every time, which gives a lot more room for her to like do stuff. Um, we only see her when she comes to talk to Kanan or Ezra, so there's a lot of room there for like extra adventures. The first two seasons of the show combine effectively into a good first half of the show, but there isn't a lot new to say about the second season that I haven't already said about the first. They're pretty similar, and the second season is just better because there's more of it, and the characters have had the first season to get developed, and they get their backstories explored. Um, Overall, I give the second season a 0.899 out of a 1. It's pretty good, but it has the same problems season 1 had. It just has the better good parts.